And joined by our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan, and making her Spectrum Sportsnet debut, Fox Sports national NBA reporter, Melissa Rowland.
Yay!
Hello.
So happy to be here.
We're excited to have you. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm next to the GOAT, and it's so funny because Brez and I used to work together at the LA Times, and I don't know if he ever knew this story, but when I first started out at the Times, our editor, Mike James, told me, if you want to be good, you have to read all of Mike Brez's stuff. And I went back, I'm telling the absolute truth, and read 2 years worth of your clips.
That is ridiculous.
That's what got me here today.
I'm so sorry to set you back like that. I mean, you made it in spite of that.
Right, she said 2 years of your clips.
No
wow,
joke. I literally read 2 years worth of his stuff.
Wow, that is awesome.
Wow. I don't even know what to say other than Mike James, a former editor. I did take him out a lot for dinners and drinks, so maybe that's all that was.
You bought him over.
Bought him over, for sure.
Well, we got to give you love because if you don't know Melissa, now you do, and we're excited to have her. You are great at what you do. As we dive right in, we take a look at the Lakers injury report heading into Tuesday's game. Wayne Ellington remains out, hamstring. Trevor Ariza out again, ankle. Talen Horton-Tucker out, dealing with the thumb. Kendrick Nunn out the knee. And then this one, which is where we will begin. LeBron, he is listed as probable, but is dealing with some right ankle soreness. King James' injury was a scary moment in Sunday's win, but he spoke about it right after.
The first thing I was thinking to myself was not again, obviously, because it was almost kind of similar, but not the same kind of play. A guy falling into my leg, and there's nothing you can do about it. I couldn't get my leg out of there in time, so I just wanted to try to take a moment on the floor, hopefully it wasn't getting worse. I had an opportunity to just tie my shoe again and see if I could continue to go, and I was able to continue to go, but it's a little sore right now, and obviously I think it's going to be a little sore tomorrow when I wake up, but obviously I'm a round-the-clock guy when it comes to treatment, so hopefully I'll be ready to go on Tuesday.
All right, so LeBron is listed as probable with right ankle soreness. Back-to-back games coming up, guys. There is 3 games in 4 days. Melissa, I'll start with you. Do you see this as a possible opportunity to get him some rest?
Allie, they better get him some rest. The man is 36 years old. He's in his 19th season, especially considering what just happened to him last night. We saw Desmond Bane go into his legs. Really scary moment there. He went down on the court, was grabbing his right leg. It looked like it could possibly be a repeat of what happened with Solomon Hill, which obviously sidelined him for 26 games last season. So really scary moment there. He said he was still experiencing some soreness. They better rest him. There's no way he's going to play back-to-back. He shouldn't even play if he's 100% healthy, but definitely not with what just happened.
Yeah, if there is a game where he is going to sit out, I would probably think it would be the Wednesday game, unless he's not 100% right off the top. The Wednesday game, you're playing OKC. This team is losing by 22 points a game on average. It's basically a G League team plus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Whereas San Antonio, they've got some weapons. So the Lakers want to go 2-0 on this trip, and he's good enough to play both games. Probably play the first game and then just kind of mail it in the second game. Just rest, relax a little bit. Make sure you get healthy for sure.
We will, of course, see as time kind of unfolds. But when it comes to what we've seen from him so far this season, he's been taking a lot of threes when it comes to his game. He's taking nearly 10 a night, which is insane, but he's shooting it at a high clip, guys, 48%. Do you see this as something that's sustainable, or do we see him maybe changing it up as the season goes on?
The interesting thing about LeBron is every year he caters his game to whatever the Lakers need or whatever really team he's been on needs. And so 2 years ago, he became the head point guard. And obviously he's been a playmaker his whole career, but for him to take on that role, that was something new for him. And then last year he saw the Lakers really had a deficit at the three-point line. I think there was a 21-game stretch, Allie, where he shot 43%. And entering this season, especially now that he's older, I think he's trying to learn how to best affect the game in ways that require less energy. And he's become really great from beyond the three-point line. So I do think that's sustainable for him. And I do think that because he recognized that's one of the biggest Lakers deficits, he's going to be really big from there this season.
It's like mastering the opportunities within the game.
Yeah. Melissa Brink, he probably realized Russ is going to be in town. I'm going to be behind the arc for a lot of clean looks. Obviously, worked on that shot, and it is paying off for sure.
Yeah, when you talk about catering to what the team needs, you add a guy like Russell Westbrook who can get downhill as great as he can in the opportunity to space the floor. LeBron's pretty smart when it comes to this game. He understands what it needs. Moving on, though, Carmelo Anthony, when you see it, he is now in single digits when it comes to the greatest scorers of all time. He surpassed Moses Malone to move to 9th all time on the NBA's career scoring list. and he did it in style, scoring 28 points. Here's King James on Melo's moment.
I think it always feels sweeter, obviously, in the win, and even more sweeter when it just happens organically. He was just playing just straight up flow, rhythm basketball tonight, and for him to move, into ninth place all time in the scoring leaderboard is special. And usually when some of my friends have these kind of achievements, I text them or call them or FaceTime and then put something on social media. In this case, I got to do it in person, because he's my teammate now. So they made it special for me.
Melo played his ass off. I mean, he shot the ball extremely well. I think it was like 6 for 8 from 3. He comes in and give
it's a blessing, but to be in that list, to pass Moses, to know what Moses did, what he did for the game of basketball. It's hard to put it in words. I'm still here doing it. I think that's what I actually excited about, that I'm here in year 19, still doing what I'm able to do. Still passionate about the game, still passionate about coming to work every day and getting better. And what better night, to reach ninth with a win, the way that we needed a win tonight. So overall, this was a hell of a night. Being here in LA and just the way that the fans embrace me, knowing the battles that I've had in here in LA against the Lakers, just over the years, and again, this happening in year 19, and for these fans to embrace me the way that they're doing, that's just I got to keep going. That keeps me motivated. Knowing that I got a supporting cast the way that I have with the fans of Los Angeles.
I got to be honest, guys, last night when Melo had this moment, I had a moment myself thinking it is about the team and the team's success, and each one of these guys are about that. But the amount of individuals who are going to reach milestones throughout the season is pretty incredible. Oh, yeah. And when you think of Melo, Brez, not too long ago, he was out of the league. How impressive has it been to see what he's been able to do to still be here and be achieving what he is? It's
a great question. I mean, in 2018, he played about 10 games and then just didn't play the rest of the season. He was waived by Houston, I believe it was, and didn't latch on with anybody. So he did go to Portland the next year. It's like, okay, what does he have left? What can he do? He had 2 very productive seasons up there, kind of reinvented himself, hit a lot of threes, 40% over those 2 years combined. And we saw more of it last night. I mean, he was a big reason they won. When you see that number 6 of 8 from three-point range, he was very humble after he did pass Moses and was talking to the media. And he said, hey, they gave me the game ball. They wanted me to make a speech. I was too tired. So he's definitely got a little sense of humor about the whole thing, too, which I appreciate. What a pickup for the Lakers. As Frank Vogel said, he didn't just pass the milestone. He blew the doors off of it. So good for him. And he could also pass Shaq, as you see there. If he averages about 15 points and stays healthy the rest of the season, it could happen in April.
Yeah, it was really cool to see him have that moment last night, especially considering everything he's went through. I talked to his trainer actually over the summer, and he talked about just how dejected he was during those sessions. Sometimes they'd have to just not play basketball and go out to dinner and just reset his mind. I mean, going from being atop the league, a multiple-time All-Star, one of the best players, to nobody wanting you. Yep. I mean, that's incredibly rough. But the thing is, he kept persevering. He kept trying to figure out how to grow his game. He comes back. He makes a big impact on Portland, comes to the Lakers, and then to see him last night standing in front of 19,000 fans who are all giving him a standing ovation, clapping, chanting Melo, Melo. That moment must have meant so much to him. It was really a redemption story.
Yeah, very cool.
And it's really cool to see that it's happening, but they're also able, in Melo, for an example as being the latest to do this, to keep the main thing the main thing. At the end of being so humble with it, we still were able to get the win. And when you think about this team and how it's constructed, how important is it, Brez, his ability to shoot the 3 ball, or just in general catch and shoot, in terms of what this team needs? Yeah,
the Lakers woke up this morning. They were the top shooting team from 3-point range in the NBA. I mean, how about that? And there's 2.
I saw that. Crazy,
it's
right?
Crazy, right?
Insane.
I mean, it's because of 2 guys. LeBron is really shooting the ball well from deep. Just be so happy to put that ring on his finger in June for the first time in his career. And there he is already among the 3-point leaders, 4th through just a handful of games here, Melissa.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming into this season, what were the Lakers' biggest deficits? 3-point shooting and perimeter defense.
100%.
And so Carmelo absolutely addresses one of those needs. And he knows his job is just to come in, be a spot-up shooter, space out the floor for LeBron, for AD, for Russ. And he's been doing his job, and he's been doing it really well. And he looks like he's having a lot of fun out there.
You can
That's
tell.
the key. Having fun while you're doing your job at a high level. The Lakers are back in action in